from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
This morning on GMSA, deadly storm ripping through the Houston area yesterday. We took a look at the damage and whether we need to prepare for severe weather here in South Texas. And a major crash on I-35 this morning, shutting down traffic near downtown. What we know so far, that's right now on GMSA.
And a live look outside. Sun is up, but it's turning into what should be a pretty nice day, although temperatures will be warm. And then by the time we get into tomorrow, we're talking record-setting heat before some changes for New Year's Eve. We take a look at that forecast coming up.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on your Sunday, December 29th. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Justin, why is it so warm outside? What is going on?
It has been an unusual end to the year. There's no two ways around it. But I will tell you, we get a cold front that comes through Tuesday mornings. That will get us some cooler weather for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Okay.
That's something you're looking forward to. In the meantime, yes, we set a record yesterday. We got up to 83. We're going to be not quite at record levels today, but I think tomorrow we certainly will be. Beautiful morning, though. At the moment, 47 degrees at the airport, 47 in New Braunfels, 47 Converse, 43 right now, Bernie, 47 at Stinson. Light winds, great way to start the day with clear skies, and we'll see sunny skies most of the day. We'll make our way up to 80 this afternoon with just some light south to southwesterly winds, which always help to warm us up. They'll kick up a little bit more tomorrow, which is why I think temperatures will go into record territory on your Monday. Right now I'm forecasting mid-80s, but I would not be surprised to see some upper 80s, maybe even some temperatures close to 90 on the map tomorrow. Pretty incredible. Then we're going to have to talk about fire danger, because as those winds do pick up out of the south and west, we got dry air and those warm temperatures. We got to be concerned about some fires, and I'll show you that threat coming up. Also, cold front, as I said, arrives on New Year's Eve. This brings us some cooler weather for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Shouldn't affect your New Year's Eve plans all that much, but we'll show you what the temperatures look like as we ring in the new year. Plus, we'll talk rainfall as well. When may we get some? All of that coming up here in just a couple minutes. Sarah?
Justin, thank you. This morning, police and firefighters on the scene of a major crash on I-35 happening near downtown. Just take a look at this video from the scene earlier this morning. Right now, we're waiting to hear back from San Antonio Police and the fire department on what exactly happened. TxDOT is reporting that I-35 southbound from West Cesar Chavez Boulevard to Guadalupe Street is shut down while crews work in the area. So just stay with us. We'll have an update for you on this crash, both on air and online at KSAT.com. Meanwhile, San Antonio firefighters were up late responding to a house fire on Culebra Road and Loop 1604 this morning. So firefighters arrived to the working fire in a room of a home on Les Harrison Drive, quickly responded, getting some residents out of the home before putting that fire out. Those homeowners thankfully were not hurt, and only one room of the home was damaged by that fire. The cause is still under investigation. And a woman is in the hospital this morning after an apparent drive-by shooting on the city's west side. This happened on Brownleaf Drive. That's just off Highway 151. Police say as many as 10 shots were fired into the woman's home, who was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. No one else was hurt, and right now police have no information on a possible suspect for the shooting. Multiple tornadoes tore through the southern United States yesterday, including a few tornadoes in communities surrounding the Houston area. So in Galveston County, wind damage knocking down power lines. A confirmed tornado in Liverpool damaged multiple homes, and another confirmed tornado hit the town of Splendora. In the town of Alvin, an elementary school heavily damaged across the street. The roof ripped off this home. Residents in Houston spoke about the terrifying moments they had to take cover from the storms.
I came out to see what was going on and how bad it was. And then I just saw the funnel just coming down. And then it started coming towards us. So I just told them, hey, let's get in the closet, because that's the safest spot. So
as millions of people are trying to get home after Christmas holiday, thousands of flights had to be delayed or canceled as a result of this severe weather. Well, this week, the San Antonio Spurs and the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center are teaming up for another blood drive. This is a second chance to give the gift of life this holiday season. Following last week's blood drive, the drive will be this Thursday from 9 to 5 at the former Spurs practice facility located on 1 Spurs Lane. To make an appointment, you can call that number on your screen, 210-731-5590, or head over to southtexasblood.org/Spurs. And once you give blood, you may wonder where it goes before it can help someone in need. In this KSAT Explains, we show you exactly that process, and it all starts with the blood hitting the road.
Before blood donations can be tested in this lab, and before they're broken down into red blood cells, platelets, and plasma in this lab, they first have to get to the lab.
A typical driver usually is on the road for pretty close to 4 to 6 hours.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for 9 years.
Daniel De Leon is the customer relations coordinator for the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center. He drives one of these to transport blood from donation sites and to hospitals.
The trucks that we have right now are old, and we put a lot of mileage on them delivering them to the hospitals. We go to Laredo quite often, 4 times a week. We go down to the Valley at least once a day. We go to Victoria a number of times a day.
So it's just a vehicle that gets run a lot.
It does get run a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So storing blood in the back, is there anything wrong with the way this vehicle does it versus what the new one would do?
Well, I mean, it would help if we had a newer vehicle that had air conditioner, airflow in the back, compared to like the newer vehicle that is.
Oh gosh, this thing doesn't have any airflow in the back.
No, it doesn't. It's just whatever air comes out of the front driver's.
Yeah, it looks like an old TV life drive.
Yes.
So I'm familiar with that. So in the back, you're just putting blood straight in here.
Yes.
Storing it in those coolers, but on a day like today when it's 105 outside,
that's correct.
time is of the essence.
It is, and something like this can get up to 130 easily back there.
And you can watch any KSAT Explained story on demand by scanning that QR code that you see on your screen there, or going to KSAT.com or KSAT's YouTube channel. And if there's something you want to see explained, let us know on our website. Okay, topping your morning headlines, at least 170 people have been killed in a plane crash in South Korea. The jetliner was carrying 175 passengers and 6 crew members when it crash landed at the airport in Mountain County just after 9 a.m. local time this morning. So rescue workers are focusing on reaching people inside the tail section of the plane. A fire department official told CNN that the plane had been almost completely destroyed by fire. The fire department said the accident was caused by a landing gear malfunction. Congress stripped the IRS of an additional $20 billion last week when averting the government shutdown. Originally, congressional Democrats had given the IRS $80 billion in 2022 during the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. But in 2023, a budget deal that Congress revoked $20 billion of that. And after the government shutdown fight last week, another $20 billion was clawed back. The administration officials said the agency will conduct 400 fewer audits of major businesses each year and 1,200 fewer audits of high-income individuals. Well, Big Lots says it has struck a deal that would keep hundreds of stores open. Big Lots recently announced it was preparing to close its remaining 963 stores after a previous deal fell through. But on Friday, the discount chain announced a new deal with another buyer. Under the proposed agreement, all of Big Lots' assets will be sold to other retailers and companies. The agreement still needs to be approved by a bankruptcy court. 809 and 47 degrees. The 2024 Valero Alamo Bowl in the books. We'll go over the best moments from the showdown in just a bit. But first, a look outside with live cam. Justin?
We're seeing clear skies right now. It's going to turn into a pretty nice day. We're starting off in the 40s, yes, but we'll end up near 80 this afternoon. Another look at that New Year's Eve forecast for you coming up.
2025 just days away, and with it there's of course going to be a bit of change. We'll see a new president sworn in, new legislative sessions will get underway, and new laws will go into effect here in the Lone Star State. I'm joined this morning by Devin Karp, who has a breakdown of some of the laws Texans can expect to see soon as that clock hits 12. Good morning, Devin.
Hey, good morning, Sarah. All right, let's go over some of these real quick. So a new year does mean some new rules, and a number of laws and changes are going to go into effect starting on January 1st. That's going to include everything from car inspections for us here in Texas to new privacy rules to keep your data safe online. So let's go ahead and start with car inspections. House Bill 3297 states that in January, all non-commercial cars are no longer going to require a safety inspection before their registration. Instead, you're going to need to pay a $7.50 registration fee when you go and get that blue sticker for the windshield. Now, while mandatory inspections are going to go away statewide, some counties will still require emissions tests. For right now, folks in Bexar County don't have to worry about those tests, but emissions standards testing will start beginning required in the county in 2026. All right, moving on to the next one. From the roads to online, Texas House Bill 4 is giving Texans more control over their personal data. While the primary bill's already in effect, one section of that's going to go into effect in January. And that section states that a consumer can designate another person or program to opt out of personal data processing on their behalf. Basically, that means consumers will not need to contact businesses directly to opt out of giving their personal data. Companies must honor some of those requests if they can verify the consumer's identities, but they can refuse under a few circumstances. We've got that list of exceptions on KSAT.com. Now, lastly, Senate Bill 2, the sweeping property tax relief bill that passed last year, has a few sections going into effect soon. One of those is going to include some extra funding to school districts in order to offset property tax revenue they'll be losing out on thanks to some of those previous cuts. Now, another section that requires the TEA to post each school district's maximum compress rate for the current and preceding tax year. Lastly, one section is going to repeal some tax discounts that have already expired. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Texas lawmakers filed more than 1,000 pieces of legislation ahead of 2025. All those changes and some other laws that are going to go into effect can be found on our website, KSAT.com. For now, I'll toss it back to y'all.
Devin, thank you.
Okay.
It's hot.
Heat.
It's hot.
I know. I do feel bad about it.
I'm pregnant hot lady right now. And
I
I'm
can
just
only imagine.
Really, I'm whiny, and I'm. You know what? I'm whiny. My palms are sweating right now in studio.
I do feel bad for you. I really do. New Year's Eve, we'll get you some cooler weather.
Please,
for like 2 days.
Thank you, Justin. About time.
Don't send me the angry emails, okay? As you look across the country this morning, we've got high pressure in control here over Texas. That's going to keep things quiet. This is the storm system that brought all those tornadoes. You saw the videos earlier. They are across parts of Texas and Mississippi. Now it's pushing east, but it's creating more severe weather there on the East Coast. Pretty prolific system. In its wake, we've got good weather here in Texas, and we'll continue to have some pretty good weather over the next couple days. Let me show you the severe weather reports. And there were quite a few tornadoes. That track of that tornado there right across the city of Houston, but up around the Kingwood area, and then stretching into parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. Just a very busy day, severe weather-wise. Not something you would expect in December, but it certainly was, again, pretty impressive when you're talking about the number of tornadoes and the strength of those tornadoes. The severe weather risk starting to push east now, so places like the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, those are areas that will see some severe weather today. And then this will push off the East Coast, and we'll say goodbye to that storm system. But that may cause a few travel delays there for the East Coast. For us, what a beautiful morning. We're in the 40s right now. We got clear skies, 47 degrees at the airport, 47 in New Braunfels. Same for Converse and Stinson. Some pretty uniform numbers here across the board. In our forecast today, noontime 73. We'll make our way up to 80 this afternoon with southwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And by tonight, temperatures will fall off pretty quickly. Low 70s by 6 o'clock, into the 60s by 7 and 8 o'clock. As we get into tomorrow, this is where things really start to heat up. We'll get a good southwesterly breeze tomorrow afternoon, and that is really going to kick up those temperatures. I think into the mid-80s here in San Antonio, but I would not be surprised to see some 90s on the map, which is pretty incredible. Not only that, with these gusty winds and the dry air, bit of a fire danger tomorrow too. We do need to mention that, especially up in the hill country and out west. So anything that, if there was a fire to get started, it would spread pretty quickly. Then a cold front comes through Tuesday morning. These are the highs on Tuesday. It does get better, as I said. We drop off about 10 to 15 degrees. So right around 70 on Tuesday for New Year's Eve here in San Antonio. 60s in the Hill Country. You'll find some 70s down to the south, but a good change. And winds will be breezy, in this case, out of the north and west behind that front. So what does that mean for New Year's Eve? Well, I think temperatures will dip into the 40s by midnight. If you're going to be celebrating downtown or you're going to be out and about, you may want a light jacket, but all in all, the weather's good. We're talking mostly clear skies other than all the smoke that'll be generated by those fireworks, because we know how it goes here in San Antonio. But yeah, it should be good for ringing in the new year. Honestly, pretty perfect weather if you're going to be celebrating outside. Here's the temperature outlook for January as we get into the 5th through the 11th. And I wanted to look ahead because people like Sarah have been asking, hey, when is it going to get like winter-like cooler? And there is a scenario in which we may get some cooler air by, the first, second week of January, especially, I think, East Coast, the Midwest is going to get a lot of cold air. This is something we'll be watching. Doesn't mean it's going to be a freeze or anything like that. It's too early to say. But as we get into January, I do think there will be some changes if you're not a fan of this hot weather. 84 again tomorrow. That's a record, by the way. The old record is 83, set back in 1951. And then we get the cool down Tuesday, New Year's Eve. Really pretty nice. 62, mostly sunny. We'll get some more clouds by Friday and Saturday, but we stay in the 60s. 40s, 60s, 40s for lows, 60s for highs. It does get a little bit better.
Some rain. We need some rain in there.
We don't have any rain. And coming up next half hour, I'm glad you brought that up. We'll talk about a rainfall deficit and kind of where I think we'll end the year. It's been a rough stretch last few years.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
8:20, 47 degrees. The 32nd Alamo Bowl has come to an end. The game was very interesting. A look back at BYU and Colorado's big game. That's next.
All right, welcome back. Yesterday was the busiest day of the college football calendar and sure was a spectacle. All right, let's start off with the Pop-Tart Bowl trophy with a functioning toaster inside. Wow, beautiful handmade trophy there in the New Mexico Bowl. Snoop Dogg conducting a halftime interview in the Arizona Bowl right there, and tempers flaring between NC State and East Carolina in the Military Bowl. But of course, all eyes were on San Antonio. All right, so I don't know if a lot of people were expecting this. Number 17 BYU pummeled 23rd ranked Colorado in the 2024 Valero Alamo Bowl 36-14 in front of a crowd of, get this, 64,261 people inside the Alamo Dome. Quite a packed house. All right, BYU quarterback Jake Retzlaff finished the game with 151 yards and 2 receptions. Wow, not so bad. All right, Shedeur Sanders went for 208 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The Cougars did win the battle on the ground. Out in Colorado, L.J. Martin responsible for 2 rushing scores. All right, let's have another look at the final there. 36-14. BYU's going to end the season 11-2. Colorado 9-4. Now, as for all the fun off the field at tailgates and watch parties, we'll show you some of that in the next half hour. All right, well, the Spurs had an off day Saturday, and good old Victor Wemby spent it playing chess in the rain at Washington Square Park in New York City. This was pretty cool to see. Wemby enjoying his favorite pastime after helping San Antonio split their 2-game stint in the Big Apple this week. Wemby had 19 points, 7 boards, and 6 blocks in last night's 96-87 win over Brooklyn. The Spurs have had the luxury of playing a full strength as of late. Wemby saying the sudden depth is keeping the coaching staff busy. A meeting with the 16-4 Timberwolves, who are on a 2-game win streak, most recently executing a ferocious late rally to beat the Rockets. Wow, cool to see. I love seeing San Antonio at the center of all this stuff. It was awesome seeing everyone tailgate yesterday.
It was great. And hey, welcome to San Antonio, all our visitors. You're going to need your shorts and flip-flops, according to Justin.
All right.
Thanks, Devin. It is 8:26, 47 degrees, still ahead on GMSA. Do you have a Christmas tree that you need to get rid of? Devin Karp tells us how you can recycle those evergreens in just a bit. And an international route in the San Antonio airport closed off after only a few months. Why folks in Alamo City will have a harder time taking a trip to Germany. That's next. Good morning. It's 8:30 on December 29th. I want to say happy birthday to my best friend, Marlena. Happy birthday. And my mother-in-law. It's her birthday as well. 29th.
Double birthday.
It's a good day, and it's going to be a warmer day if you're in South Texas.
It certainly is. We're going to be up near 80. Yesterday we were at 83. Tomorrow we'll be back in the mid 80s. So it's kind of a warm stretch to end the year. However, New Year's Eve will be cooler. So there is
good.
But the rainfall. That's what we really need is some rain, and we haven't got much of that. I want to show you beautiful sunrise this morning. Skywatcher Oscar always does a great job with his photography. And this is a great example of that. The sun coming up, you got the cirrus clouds in the background, and man, that is gorgeous. What a way to start our day here in San Antonio. And we'll see a pretty nice afternoon. Temperature is 62 at 10 a.m., 76 at 1 o'clock. We'll top out near 80 later today. You'll see mostly sunny to sunny skies. If we're going to see any clouds at all, it'll be those thin cirrus clouds. It's not a big issue. Maybe you're doing some traveling today. Houston to Dallas may see some fog early, but otherwise, okay. Most of the state's going to be just fine, unlike yesterday where we had severe weather across Houston and Dallas. Not today. So flights, driving, all the good stuff. Now, 35 will no doubt be very crowded. So you'll run into some traffic in that sense. But as far as weather goes, all is well. So what about those New Year's Eve celebrations? And we mentioned the rainfall. How are we looking for 2024 as we wind down the year? We'll take a look at that as well coming up in just a couple minutes.
Justin, thank you. And your top stories this morning, San Antonio police have arrested a member of the Tren de Agua gang for shooting a man 4 times. So court records say Mikhail Williams Laguna Chironos shot another member of the gang at a north side apartment complex back in October. An affidavit says it happened after the shooting victim had an argument with his girlfriend. She brought another man to help her move out, and records show the shooting victim threatened him. That man came back with Laguna Chironos. Records say he shot the victim 3 times in the body, once in the head. He survived after extensive treatment. Now Laguna Chironos is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He's booked on a $200,000 bond. And a woman shot by San Antonio police earlier this month, now facing criminal charges. Police say 30-year-old Karen Martinez threatened to kill herself on her boyfriend's front porch. This happened back on December 16th on the city's west side. So an arrest affidavit says Martinez claimed she was armed with a gun and then a knife. Police say an officer shot Martinez after she ran towards them. Court records show they tried using a taser, but it didn't work. Police told us Martinez was holding a blade, but that affidavit said they actually didn't find a knife, and it didn't mention finding a gun either. So Martinez is in critical condition. She's charged with 2 counts of making a terroristic threat against a police officer. We're learning new details about a crash we told you about Friday night. San Antonio police say a motorcyclist who got into a crash near Texas A&M San Antonio has died. The medical examiner identified him as 21-year-old Caleb Carter. SAPD says witnesses saw Carter speed and weave in and out of traffic on Zarzamora. That crash happened around 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Investigators say Carter was thrown from the bike after he crashed into an SUV. Police say he was making a left turn into an apartment complex. SAPD says nobody else was hurt in that crash. Well, 7 months ago, San Antonio International Airport unveiled its only transatlantic flight to Germany via Condor Airlines. But this week, Condor announced they're discontinuing several U.S. nonstops to Germany, including the one right here in San Antonio. So the German federal court overturned a long-standing rule that required another German airline to provide feeder flights to Condor's network. Well, because of that decision, Condor is changing their 2025 flight schedules and discontinuing their service from San Antonio, Baltimore, Phoenix, and Minneapolis-St. Paul. So San Antonio Director of Airports Jesus Sainz Jr. says the travel numbers through Condor last summer supported the idea that the airport was fit for nonstop service to Europe. He added, quote, "Together in collaboration with community partners, we will continue to work on expanding nonstop service from San Antonio International Airport ties between our region and Europe continue to grow. Reconnecting the airport in Europe will continue to be our top priority for our community. And making headlines this morning, Dallas Mavericks star player Luka Doncic is the latest victim in the string of burglaries of homes of high-profile athletes. Jacqueline Lee has the story.
Who slices through two defenders.
This morning, another sports star burglarized at home.
Square, square.
This time, Dallas Mavericks star Luka Doncic targeted by thieves. The burglars allegedly getting away with jewelry valued at $30,000. His representative telling ESPN that no one was home at the time, and thankfully Luka and his family are safe. And he has filed a police report and an investigation is ongoing. This latest break-in comes on the heels of other high-profile homes targeted. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce targeted after Monday Night Football kickoff. Thieves stealing more than $20,000 in cash. His teammate and quarterback Patrick Mahomes speaking out after an October break-in at his home.
It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But I can't get into too many of the details.
Earlier this month, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, the victim of a home invasion in Ohio while he was playing on the road.
I feel like my privacy has been violated in more ways than one.
The problem so widespread, the NFL sending a memo to its players warning criminals use public records to find players' addresses and conduct extensive surveillance by tracking team schedules and the social media accounts of players and their families. They wait until homes are empty.
They are very attractive targets for the following reasons. Their schedules are published publicly. They tend to live in really nice, expensive houses, drive terrific cars, tend to have high-end jewelry and cash.
And we reached out to the Dallas Police Department and they would not confirm victim identification. Officials warning that these criminals are going as far as to use drones and signal jamming technology. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
It's that time of year. Christmas is done and those decorations need to go up. Our Devin Karp is here in studio this morning to share some ways you can do that. That's safe for our environment and sustainable, right, Devin?
Yeah, Sarah. So I know it's a little bit controversial on when you decide to actually take down some of those decorations. Some say as soon as possible, others say somewhere like January 1st. But whenever you want to do that, here's a couple ways to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's good for the environment. All right, first off, your Christmas tree. Texas Disposal Systems is accepting Christmas tree donations for recycling at 2 locations in town, one on the northeast side near their Evans Road location and the other near Converse at FM 1516. Now, the company says they'll accept any Christmas trees, holly, pumpkins, or other organic decorations you've got starting now until the end of January. And starting next weekend, the city of San Antonio will also be accepting Christmas trees. Now, they want their trees under 6 feet only, and if you don't, have one that's a little bit taller than that. Otherwise, they'll just ask you to cut it in half. Make sure there's no lights or decorations or ornaments when you're dropping it off, just the tree. Now, under the city's tarp law, you must cover some brush loads with a tarp. Otherwise, you could receive a $5 penalty. They've got locations on Bitters and Nelson's Road. And hey, 2 weeks after that, they're going to take all those Christmas trees and be giving out free Christmas tree mulch. Not too bad of a deal. All right, now if you have any Christmas lights you've got to get rid of, maybe you don't have the space for storing any of them, well, you're in luck right now. Monterey Metal Recycling will take them and actually pay you for the service so they can strip them for some metal recycling. You can drop them off at their location, 2300 Frio City Road. Now me, I've always kind of been a take it down on January 1st guy. You know, it's a good way to ring in the new year. So it's good to know you can have a little back and forth and some time left to get rid of the decorations if you're like me. For now, Sarah, I'll send it back to you.
Okay. The 2024 Alamo Bowl saw a lot of fun across San Antonio with watch parties, tailgates, and people just touring the Alamo City. Welcome to our visitors still here. Despite the outcome, fans of both teams say it's a win to get to visit our slice of South Texas. Many of them took in the sights along the Riverwalk or out at the Pearl. Others made themselves at home outside the Alamo Dome, firing up the grills. We caught up with 2 longtime college friends who flew in just for the big game.
We've known each other 30 years. This was a great excuse to get together. And what better place in San Antonio? It's like such a beautiful place and welcoming.
And BYU fans showed their thanks to San Antonio. Before kickoff, BYU San Antonio alumni group hosted what they call a party with a purpose. Their tailgate tradition is all about giving back. Fans and alumni donate things like diapers and underwear to Haven for Hope.
This is a thing that is completely unique to BYU. We usually do it at every away tailgate that we host.
There's a wall of diapers. You don't see that outside of a department store. I mean, that's how good our turnout was for today.
So BYU alumni say their focus is to show team spirit through service. They plan different events to help out local nonprofits. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy your time here in San Antonio. 841, 47 degrees. Serving on a jury in court can be stressful, even traumatic for some people. Up next, we'll take a look at the four-legged partners that are helping people through the worst of those times.
And a live look outside. We got full sun right now. It's going to turn into a beautiful day after a chilly morning. We're in the 40s, but we make our way up to 80 this afternoon.
The Bexar County Justice Center. Some jurors encounter tragic, awful details during those court proceedings. Now jurors are asking for therapy after hearing testimony or seeing evidence. Our Erica Hernandez shows us how therapy docs, they're making a difference.
It doesn't take away the pain, but it helps them deal with it at that time.
Happy Buttles knows all too well how dogs can offer comfort during hard times. Her standard poodles helped her when she lost her son 5 years ago.
I felt like if they could get me through my pain, my trauma, and my PTSD of everything that I experienced, I need to be able to give it back to the community.
And she has been. Her dogs and her team have now been showing up to the courthouse to sit in for trials where the details are disturbing.
It's very traumatic for everybody in that courtroom, including myself. And so having the ability to have therapy dogs in the courtroom has really helped jurors come along.
In a recent trial, Judge Rangel said the jurors expressed their gratitude when they noticed the dogs.
One individual that was on the jury yesterday told us that just having the dogs present in the courtroom, she could hear them breathe, she could hear them sort of move around, was very soothing and therapeutic for her.
The dogs can be requested by anyone involved in the case. Buttles and her team have already sat through several cases and are willing to step in whenever needed, all with the goal of spreading love and hope for all those in need.
There's enough ugly people in the world that you don't have to be one, you know. I've learned to turn frowns upside down. My dogs have done it as well.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
We love therapy dogs.
They're the best.
They are the best. I have a retired one, Scooby.
That's right. My man,
I know
Scooby.
you're watching Scoobs.
Mm-hmm.
He's retired because he got 2 new legs, so.
Oh.
Yeah, but
he's loving retirement, though.
He's loving retirement, and today's a good day to take him on a walk because it's going to be super warm, but not hot.
You're right. We'll see temperatures right around 80, so it's good dog walking weather, I think. Cooler weather, though, as we head into the new year, probably for 2025, especially as we get into maybe the second week or so of January. That's the hope, anyway. You know what? We need some rain. San Antonio's at 23.67 inches for the year. That's where we're going to end it because we don't have any rain in the forecast the next couple days. So we are going to be over 8.5 inches below average. Not a good number. Austin finished below average. Del Rio's had a rough stretch, but they're going to finish nearly 10 inches below average. And let me put it into perspective for you because over the last 5 years, it's been dry. 4 out of the last 5 years, we've been below average. 2022 was our worst year ever, 11.51 inches for the year. That was it. We doubled up on that in 2023. We did a little better this year. But other than 2021, it has been a really rough stretch. And this is why we continue to stay in that drought situation that we have. And we will be there for a while longer until we can get a really good rainfall. We missed out on the rain last couple of days. A large portion of Texas got good rain. We did not. And you look at rain chances over the next several days, well, there aren't any, I'm sorry to say. Looks like we'll be dry going into the new year as well. That leads us to our next issue, which is a fire danger. We'll get some gusty winds tomorrow, those warm temperatures, and you put those two things combined with the dry conditions that we've had, and you've got a pretty significant fire danger from parts of the hill country, even down to San Antonio. So we see these oranges and reds. That's where the fire danger is at its highest, very high to extreme. But even here around San Antonio, we'll be in the high category. And this is tomorrow, by the way. So that is something we'll be watching very closely tomorrow afternoon. Outside right now, beautiful morning, 47 degrees. basically across the board here. Bernie's been jumping around. I don't know what's going on with that monitor, but I don't think it's right. Either way, most of us are in the 40s this morning with light winds. Noontime 73. Then we make our way up to 80 this afternoon. Sunny to mostly sunny skies. If we see any clouds, it'll just be those thin, wispy cirrus clouds that won't really do much for us. 67 degrees at 7 p.m., 64 at 8 p.m. And if you're heading back to work tomorrow, anticipate some hot temperatures. 84 degrees is what we're forecasting for San Antonio. There will be some 90s on the map, I think, but a very, very warm day. This would be a record, by the way. The old record's 83. If we get to 84, that would be a record heat. Now, we cool down on Tuesday. So front comes through Tuesday morning. Again, doesn't bring any rain, just brings some breezy winds with it. But it does bring temperatures down 10 to 15 degrees. So Tuesday, different story. 69 here in San Antonio. 70 is elsewhere. So a pretty good cool down. And that means New Year's Eve evening and going into New Year's Day will be chilly, not cold. 48 degrees at midnight when we ring in the New Year. So if you're going out downtown, grab a light jacket perhaps. But it won't be overly cold. Extended forecast. 62 Wednesday for New Year's Day. 63 Thursday. We'll start off with temperatures in the 40s. We'll end up in the 60s for the rest of the week after that front comes through on Tuesday. And maybe a bit more cloud cover by Friday and Saturday. But if you're ringing in the New Year, as I said, all in all, weather looks pretty good. Can't ask for, honestly, much better weather than that. It's been really cold in years past or really warm. This is kind of somewhere in the middle.
I know a lot of people on New Year's Day will be, people who came in town, because I know a lot of people love to watch the fireworks downtown. They're going to be walking the Riverwalk. 62 degrees with the sun out on New Year's Day. That's perfect for all of our visitors. And maybe...
Most ideal. And you know what I'll be doing on New Year's Day? Taking down the Christmas lights, just like Devin was talking about. That's my day.
You're like one of those day one guys.
I get it over with, man. Just get it done.
No nonsense here.
That's right.
I do it like January 6th.
What?
Yeah. It's like officially Christmas is over after that.
It's hanging over your head, though, literally.
Oh, my gosh. Take it easy. 8:51, 47 degrees. Hey, coming up tomorrow on GMSA, a group of San Antonio area women are partnering up to help girls and women in our communities step into a career in plumbing, welding, or constructions. You go, girls. It's a solid job that does not require a college degree and can change the trajectory of their lives. That's tomorrow on GMSA. Patty Santos introduces us to these women, hoping to show girls that they can do anything they put their minds to. So you've probably heard that $1.2 billion Mega Millions jackpot was won by somebody in California, who has to pay state taxes, by the way. But that winner surprisingly hasn't come forward to claim their $1 billion. The California Lottery says an individual bought the winning ticket Friday night at a gas station in the town of Cottonwood. I believe that's in Northern California. The winning numbers were 3, 7, 37, 49, and 55. Mega number was 6. The jackpot also has a take-home price of about $540 million. Whoever this mystery winner is, they have 1 year to claim their money. I don't understand this. The people who wait all year. I'm like, no.
They're getting their stuff in order. They got to get lawyers and.
Oh, I already have my. Like,
you're already anticipating.
Like, if I win, I got my financial advisor. I got my attorney.
Yeah, well, I got a scratch off in my stocking and I won $30.
Did you?
I was pretty proud of myself.
My brother got a $100 scratch off last night.
Oh, okay.
I know. Hey, have a good Sunday.
Yeah.